November marks an important time of year for Indigenous people, Native American Heritage Month.
All month long, we celebrate and honor the first peoples of these lands that we now call the United States.
This moment isn't just for Indigenous people to celebrate our history, culture, and traditions.
It's also a time to educate others about our tribal nations and to recognize all that we've accomplished and contributed to society, and that we are still here.
Who exactly is considered Indigenous? And what are the terms used for the different groups from various regions?
And when did this yearly cultural celebration become official? Ayuki, hello. I'm Kiara Sotile.
And I'm Alyssa Yakidi London, Tlingit Ayakhat.
I'm proud to be Karuk.
I am a member of the Tlingit tribe of Alaska.
We're going to break it all down for you in this episode of Understanding Native American Heritage. Our Native American heritage has always been something to celebrate, but when was it officially recognized on the calendar? To answer that, we have to go back to the early 1900s.
In 1914, Red Fox James, a Blackfoot Native American, rode on horseback across America, rallying state governments to approve an official day to honor Native Americans.
A year later, with support from 24 states, he presented his proposal at the White House, but there's no record that anything came of it. Then, 1 year later, the state of New York declared the first recorded American Indian Day in May 1916. But it wasn't until 1990 that President George H.W. Bush officially made it a month.
Now let's talk about who are Indigenous people. Some prefer the term Native American, others use American Indians. Other identifiers are location specific, like Alaska Natives, which refers to Indigenous people of Alaska, or First Nations, the First Peoples in Canada. Some people might imagine we all live on reservations, but actually only about 22% of Native Americans actually live on reservations.
The other 78% of us live all over the country and the world.
We've been a part of the fabric of this land for so long before it was ever called the United States, and we continue to make our mark today.
Last year, Secretary Deb Haaland became the first Native American cabinet secretary.
She later swore in the first Native American director of the national parks, Charles F. Sams III.
The historic first continued this year. Representative Mary Peltola became the first Alaska Native elected to the U.S. House.
Mohegan Chief Marilyn Malerba, the first Native American to serve as Treasurer of the United States.
And just last month, astronaut Nicole Mann, the first Native American woman to go to space.
So what does all of this tell us? Indigenous heritage is ingrained in the very land we stand on, and our influence is felt across every part of this country.
From our sacred traditions to our distinct tribal nations and languages, there's space to celebrate and honor what it means to be Indigenous, what it means to be Native American, and what it means to be American Indian, Alaska Native, First Nations, and many others.
To most Americans, the Pilgrims of Plymouth, Massachusetts are the iconic inspiration for today's Thanksgiving feast. After the winter of 1620 killed almost half of their people, the colonists formed a relationship with the neighboring Wampanoag tribe, who taught them about fishing, planting, and hunting. By autumn of 1621, the colonists had collected enough food to feed the community through the coming winter. The Wampanoags joined the colonists for a 3-day feast in honor of their bounty. The feast probably did not include our modern Thanksgiving staple, turkey. More likely, the colonists and Wampanoags dined on roast goose, along with corn, codfish, and lobster. This 1621 harvest meal is now commonly thought of as the first Thanksgiving. Yet for later generations of colonists, New England days of Thanksgiving had little to do with the 1621 harvest festival. Theirs was a religious holiday, descended from Puritan days of fasting, prayer, and giving thanks to God. Every autumn, the governor of each colony would declare days of thanksgiving for bountiful harvests, victorious battles, or drought-ending rains. In 1777, the Continental Congress decreed that all 13 of America's colonies celebrate a national day of Thanksgiving that year in celebration of their victory over the British at Saratoga. By the mid-19th century, many states celebrated the holiday. However, the date could vary by weeks or even months. A determined magazine editor named Sarah Josepha Hale set about establishing a national Thanksgiving Day. She passionately believed that such a day would help unite a nation headed towards civil war. Hale began a one-woman letter-writing campaign, urging politicians to establish an annual day of Thanksgiving. Her efforts were finally rewarded by Abraham Lincoln, who saw the unifying potential of the holiday. In 1863, 4 months after the victory at Gettysburg, he declared the last Thursday of November to be Thanksgiving Day. By the 20th century, Thanksgiving was a welcome day of leisure from a 6-day work week. In the 1920s, the National Football League was formed. In an effort to boost attendance, the fledgling Detroit Lions devised the concept of a Thanksgiving Day game. Parades also became a Turkey Day tradition, and department stores quickly saw their value as a kickoff to the Christmas shopping season. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade began in 1924, and year after year, millions of New Yorkers braved the cold to watch the festivities. Most of all, Thanksgiving is about family.